All right, good morning, guys. Today we're going to be doing lesson 50, which is solving for slope-intercept form. So first, there's a quick do now question that I want you to do. So I'd like you to answer number 1 and then answer number 2 if it's in slope-intercept form, and explain how you know or how you don't know. So take a second, pause this video, and answer those 2 questions. All right, so what is the equation of a line in slope-intercept form? Well, we know that's y equals mx plus b. And remember, with this equation, the slope is our m. And the slope is always attached to the x. And the y-intercept is our b. So that's the intercept part is the b. Specifically our y-intercept. So then looking at this next equation, is the equation x plus y equals 5 in slope-intercept form? Explain. Well, it needs to be in that y equals mx plus b form. So that y is what's by itself. Is the y by itself in this equation? No, so it's not in slope-intercept form. The y is not alone. How do you think we would put this in slope-intercept form? Well, we need to get that y by itself. This is an equation, so we always put our line down the equal sign. If you think back to literal equations, remember literal equations are those formulas or those equations with just letters that we solved. We're going to use that type of a strategy in order to solve here. So we need to get the y by itself. How would we do that? Well, what's holding the x and the y together? Well, addition. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract x. And what we do on one side, we do to the other. So then here on this side, I get y equals 5 minus x. So our y is by itself. But we need this in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b form. Notice with this formula, the x is what comes first, and that y-intercept, or that number that's alone, comes second. So we actually need to switch the order around here for this one. So to help me do that, I'm going to box. I have the 5 and I have the negative x. Remember that sign always stays with it. So this gives me y equals, the negative x needs to come first. And there's no sign in front of that 5, but when there's no sign, we know that means that's an invisible plus 5 there. Now that's in our proper slope-intercept form. And just for more practice, what would my slope be here? Well, the slope is the number that's in front of the x. Here it's a negative. Remember, that's an invisible 1. And what would my y-intercept be? My y-intercept is the 5. All right, let's look at example 2. Once again, we're solving for slope-intercept form. So I'm going to put my line down my equal sign. Then remember, we want to solve for the y because we want that y to be by itself. So I have 4x plus 2y equals 8. The 4x and the 2y are attached by addition. So in order to get the 4x to the other side, I'm going to subtract 4x on both sides. So then here, I'm left with 2y equals 8 minus 4x. Now, if you wanted to, you could have just noticed that we have 2y equals, you could have just noticed that the negative 4x should come first because it has the x, and you could put the positive 8 there. Now, you could have just done that before, or you just switched the order of them like we did last time. Same idea. All right, then we still don't have that y by itself. We still need that y by itself there. The 2's in front of it. Well, what's holding that 2 and that y together? Multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. And we're dividing both whole sides by 2. So that leaves me with y here equals. Now when we divide, remember you need to divide each of the terms. You're seeing a lot of what we did is coming back now. So negative 4x divided by 2 leaves us with negative 2x. And positive 8 divided by 2 leaves me with a positive 4. And then just for review, what is my slope here? Remember, slope's always attached to the x, so it's the negative 2. And what is the y-intercept here? That's the number that's alone, which is the 4. All right, let's flip over to the next page. All right, let's look at example 3 together. So once again, we're solving for that slope-intercept form, that y equals mx plus b format. And we need to get that y alone. So the first thing we would do here to get the y alone is I need to subtract x. And what I do on one side, I do on the other. The x's cancel, leaving me with 3y equals negative x plus 9. Now the y still is not by itself. So the 3 and the y are being held together by multiplication. So the opposite is to divide by 3. And I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides. My 3's will cancel and I get just y. What's the invisible number with the negative x? That's a negative 1x. Negative 1 divided by 3. That'll give us a decimal. But remember, when we're dealing with slope, we like to leave it as a fraction. So I'm going to leave it as negative 1 over 3x. Then I have positive 9 divided by 3, which gives me a positive 3. So then let's identify what is my slope here. Well, my slope is that negative 1/3. And then what is my y-intercept here? That 3. All right, let's look at example 4 together. We need to solve for y. So we need to get that y by itself. So I have 8x minus 4y equals 4. That's a positive 8x, so I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides. Now when we do this, it's very important. A lot of people will forget that's a negative 4y. So you need to always bring that negative. Equals, I'm going to do the negative 8x plus 4. Now we still need to get that y by itself. In order to do that, we're going to divide by negative 4 on both sides. And we get y equals negative 8x divided by negative 4, leaves me with a positive 2x. Positive 4 divided by negative 4 leaves me with a negative 1. So then what did we get for our slope? Well, our slope is attached to the x, so it's the 2. And then what is my y-intercept? My y-intercept is the number that's alone, and that's the negative 1. Don't forget that sign there. All right, let's look at example 5. Once again, we're solving to get that y by itself. So the first thing that we even need to do is we have that 3x, so we need to minus 3x on each side. So I have 2y equals negative 3x positive 12. Then we still need to get that y by itself because that 2 is in front. So we're going to divide by 2 on each side. And we get y equals negative 3x divided by 2 You cannot divide 3 by 2 evenly, so we're going to leave it as negative 3 over 2x. Then we need to take the 12 divided by 2, and that gives me a positive 6. So what is my slope here? My slope is that negative 3 over 2 that's attached to the x. And what is my y-intercept? It's that positive 6. All right, so I'd like you guys to take some time to pause the video and do 1 through 6 here. All right, then once you complete 1 through 6, I'd like you guys to work on the practice worksheet on the next page. And what the practice worksheet is it's multiple choice. So I want everyone to pay close attention. So what you're going to do is you're going to do question number 1. And you're going to solve it. And then you're going to look at this box number 1. And you're going to figure out which multiple choice answer is the answer to that question in slope-intercept form. Each of the letters represents a color. So whichever color you get then, you're going to color all of the number 1s that color. So this is a fun color by number for you to work on. It's one of those like adult coloring book ones. So make sure that you are showing your work for all of these. If you do not have enough space, and most of you will not, and that is fine, please complete your solving on a separate sheet of paper. You need to show all of your work when solving. All right? If you have any questions, comment on this video, or please send me an email.